This conference will now be recorded.
So today we are going to start new topic which is called as persistent volume and persistent volume claim. So why we have to go for PV and PVC, which is technically called as PV and PVC. So till now we have seen containers, the storage in the container, and we have seen volumes. So let us try to recap what are those exactly and what are the disadvantages we have with those volume types. Okay. So technically why we went to volumes is nothing but your containers are ephemeral, which means that whatever the data you store inside the container is not constant or it's not permanent, right? Whenever I show some data, if the container is recreated, the data is wiped out, right? The old data which I have created will be wiped out and the new container will be created with the new template, right? So that's a thing which will happen when you try to recreate the container, of if the container has been, the pod, entire pod has been recreated. Okay, so you can never guarantee that the data which is stored in the container is will be there for a longer period. Okay, you can never guarantee that in the container level actually. Okay, so it is always better to uh, have a volume attached, and you can store the content which is really important for the application and which should be available for the application by attaching a volume. Okay, so that's where we took the concept called volumes concept. Okay, where it's like a shared volume between the containers or whatever it is. We have used different types: mtdr, we have used host path, nfs. I've told you there are so many other types of volumes as well. Okay, so whatever the volumes you use, ultimately those volumes are permanent storage for your what do you say, your containers. Okay, but here the problem, yeah, that is advantage, which means that if your container is restarted inside the pod or recreated inside the pod, the volume nothing will happen to your volume, whether it is mtdr, whether it is nfs, whether it is host path, or whether it is um, local or any other volume which you are using. Nothing will happen to your data which is stored over there. Okay, your pod will be available in order to serve the data for the newly created container inside the pod as well. For the container perspective, it is a persistent volume. Okay, for the container perspective, it is a permanent volume. But here the problem is, if you delete your pod, Okay, if you delete your pod, your volume also will get deleted. For example, mtdr. Okay, let's say you are trying to create a pod or a deployment or anything. Ultimately everybody will create a pod. Okay, so that pod, when it is created on a specific node, okay, it is assigned to a specific node. Okay, that pod, that kubernetes will try to create a mtdr volume under the var lib doc var lib kubelet pods and the pod id and then volumes, and then that's where the location is. Okay, when you are using mtdr. Okay, so when the pod is assigned over there, both the containers will use the same volume. That's fine. But the problem is, if your pod has been deleted, okay, the data which is stored in the volume cannot be accessible. Why? Because that directory also will get deleted. When your pod is deleted, the volume also will get deleted. There is no way for kubernetes to access the volume to get the data. Okay, so in the pod perspective, it is a ephemeral again. Ephemeral in the sense, you're deleting your pod, you cannot access your volume. So there is no point of saying it is a persistent, right? Okay, so to overcome that particular situation as well, we are using a concept called PV/PVC. There are a separate objects which should be created. It's not part of your pod YAML file or a deployment YAML file or any workload YAML file. Okay, what are the workloads we have? Pod, daemon, pod, replica set, replication controller, daemon set, deployment. Okay, a stateful set, which we haven't discussed. Okay, these are called as workloads. What are the workload you use? It's a volume. It's not the volume which you are trying to create using that YAML file. That is a separate object. Okay, the PV and PVC which you try to create is a separate entity. Okay, so that's the reason whenever you delete your pod, nothing will happen to your volume. Okay, Kubernetes can still access your volume and you can utilize it for the next pod or next container or whatever it is. Okay, it can do it. So that's the reason we have a concept called persistent volumes. Okay, PV and PVC. PVC is nothing but persistent volume claim. That is nothing but a request from the application. That is called as persistent volume claim. The administrator will try to create a PV. Okay, whether he create it dynamically or whether he creates it statically, that is a different scenario. Okay, so let us go one by one. So if you want to understand this PV and PVC concepts, go to the Kubernetes, and then here we have this persistent storage. Okay, now let me try to show this. Yeah, so persistent volume and persistent volume claim. A PV will be provisioned by administrator. Means I has to do it. Let's say if I am maintaining the cluster, Kubernetes cluster, I have to create this particular PV. Okay, so creating this particular PV to store the data persistent. Okay, to store the data which is important for your application persistently, means like permanently. Okay, until unless you delete it, your data will be available in the volume. Okay, but to create this particular PV, we have two types. Through persistent, to store the data persistence through static or a dynamic approach. Static or a dynamic in the sense, administrator will try to create a PV for each and every request. That is called a static way. Okay, so dynamic way in the sense, administrator will create some logic. Okay, whenever there is a request coming in, automatically Kubernetes will search for that, and if it is available, it will create a PV for you, and that will get attached to your PVC. So this will be done automatically. That is called as dynamic way. So this will simplify the job of the administrator. Why? Because administrator cannot do all the request whatever it's came to your for an application, right? Request comes in the sense, let's say your a developer will tell you that please create this volume with this particular size because I'm trying to deploy some application. Okay, so you cannot keep on doing this particular job, right? You may be in the around the cluster or you might be out of the cluster, right? Means you'll be out of the office, let's say for example, you don't have access 24/7, right? Okay, so let's say for example, you cannot sit in front of this system and keep on creating the PVs for whatever the request it comes into you, right? So there has to be some dynamic approach which will simplify the job of an administrator. Okay, so dynamic in the sense, dynamic approach in the sense, the PV will be created with the help of storage class. Okay, so storage class is a concept which you have to create whenever a request comes, a PVC request comes, it will search for that particular storage class name. If that storage class exists, it will try to create a PV for you, dynamic PV for you, and that PV will get attached to your PVC. Okay, so this is how it happens. What is this PVC? PVC is a request of a storage by the user or an application. Okay, application in the sense, when you're trying to create a pod or a deployment or daemon set or something, you'll specify how much size of what do you say, volume unit, that you will specify. So based on the request, it will go to the PV, it will search for that particular storage class, default storage class or any other storage class, and it will try to create a volume for you to get attached to that particular PVC. That's the reason it is called as claim. Claim in the sense, what I want this. Okay, you will send a request, right? So that's the reason it is called as persistent volume claim. You are trying to claim your persistent volume, okay, with your request. Okay, now it is similar to a pod. Okay, similar to a pod in the sense, you have to, how you create a pod, right? In that way also you have to create your PV and PVC. Okay, like kubectl create -f YAML file, how you do it, or kubectl create PV, and you can do from the CLI as well. Okay, whatever it is, but pod consumes resources. Okay, claim doesn't consume any resources. It is not like CPU or memory it will consume. It will ask only for the size and the access modes. Size in the sense, how much size of volume you need, and what should be the access mode: read write once, read only once, read write many. These are the three access modes which we have. Okay, so these are the two important points when you're trying to create a PV and PVC concept. Okay, especially for PVC, it is access mode and size. If it is coming to your PV, access mode, size, and the storage class, there are so many other factors actually. Okay, so as I told, like dynamic provisioner uses storage class to identify what type of Azure storage needs to be created, or any other storage it should be created. Okay, not, it's not Azure, what type of storage needs to be created. Okay, you will understand once we jump into this particular concept. Okay, the dynamic provisioner, we will be using NFS dynamic provisioner, how to create it and how to utilize that. Okay, so as updated earlier, PVs can be provisioned in two ways, static and dynamic. Static PV are provisioned by the cluster administrator, which can be managed by Kubernetes API server. Dynamic PVs are created with none of the PV exists created by the administrator. It will be provisioned the dynamic PV in the background. Whenever a request comes, automatically it will see and it will create a PVs file. It looks like this. Okay, let us say this is your storage class. For example, you are a user, you are trying to contact your PVC, and you have a master node and worker node. So this is a pod which will try to send a request to PVC. This PVC will try to search for the storage class or something. It will create a PV for you. For example, a PV is already available. This is called a static PV. Now this PV will get attached to this particular PVC. How it will get attached to only to this particular PV? Because both will try to use the same name, which is called a storage class name. I'll tell you what is that. Okay, so once it is done, backend storage, whatever you use it, if it is Azure or if it is AWS or if it is NFS or something, that will get store your data. Whatever you are trying to store in some particular path, that will get stored in the backend storage. Okay, dynamic in the sense, your pod will send a request through PVC, and that PVC will search for the storage class, and the storage class will try to create a PV for you. That is called as a dynamic PV. That dynamic PV can use any type of storage in the backend. Okay, so this is how it happens. Okay, actually I have written only one PVC here, but it should be a separate PV. So at the PVC and the PV mounting attachment should be only one to one. You cannot use one PVC for multiple PVs, or this same PV cannot be used for multiple PVCs. That is also not recommended. So it should be only one to one mapping. One PVC should be used only for one PV. Okay, so it should be a one to one mapping. Okay, So volume policies, we have different types of volumes, like we have retain policy, delete policy, recycle policy. This we have to go one by one. So if I talk about this right away, you'll get confused. What is this access mode? Volume status is nothing but whenever you try to create a volume, what will be the different types of states actually: available, bound, release, and failed. So I will explain about this as well. And then we have volume snapshots, volume snapshot class. There are so many other topics which we can discuss. Okay. So right away, I'll be talking about this particular topic, PV and PVC. What is this PV? How to create it? What is this PVC? How to create it? Once a static PV PVC concept is done, then we will try to use a dynamic PV creation. Okay. So how to do it? That let us try to understand. And then we can understand about this volume policies. Okay. There are three types of policies actually: retain, delete, and recycle. Okay. And then we have to understand access mode. These are really important, these two. Access mode and volume policies are really important to understand for us. Okay, this is the major topic in our PV PVC concept. So in order to create a PV, let us take a simple example. Okay,
Sudhir,
so
I have a
yeah,
quick question here.
yeah,
So we have three type of storage like block, file, and object. So
yeah.
can we manage all these three types with the help of PV and PVC?
Yeah, see, backend volume, it's up to you what kind of object you try to use. Okay, backend volume, whether you use EBS or whether you use a file system or whether you use a object storage, it's up to you. Okay, it depends upon your requirement. Object storage in the sense you just want to store your content to your data, right? That particular storage, then that's enough. Let's say if you want to use the same PVC, same volume which is stored in the backend. Okay, that same volume I want to create, attach it to multiple PV.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have to go for file system. We cannot go with object storage, right? Either we can go for object storage and we can go for file system, but we cannot go for EBS. That block storage should be attached only for one particular PV. So it depends upon application. Do you want to replicate the data when your applications are running as replicas and all? It all depends upon that. Okay, but
And
ultimately, yeah, any type of
mhm.
storage you can attach to your backend as your
Okay.
for your PV. Okay.
And do we have uh, these kind of PV creation support in Azure or AWS?
Yes, of course. See, if you
Okay.
try to search for the official document itself, let me show that. What are types of volumes that are supported, right? Backend volumes. I think here it will list it. You can see here.
Azure disk. Okay.
Okay, Azure file, Azure disk. So disk is nothing but actually it is a block storage. File is
Mm-hmm.
nothing but file system actually. Okay, object storage I cannot see it actually. Support for expanding. Okay, persistent volume claims is now enabled by default. You can expand the following types of volume. Expand in the sense what? Today you have created with some particular size, let's say 20 GB. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to expand it to some 30 GB or something, you can do it actually. So volume expand is available by default on this particular types, but you can use any type of volume in the backend. Okay, how you are using for your volumes, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How we are using for your Kubernetes, right? Type of volumes in the backend. Okay, you're using Azure AWS, AWS Elastic Block Storage, okay, EBS, which is called as, and then we are using EBS CSI migration, Azure Disk, Azure File System, okay, Sub File System, Cinder. All these are supported again in this particular PV concept. Okay, this is by default available. You can use any type of volume here. Okay, this is, you can see here list of persistent volumes in the backend. Persistent volume types are implemented as plugins. Plugin in the sense it's like an additional component, right? That's the reason it is called as plugin. Your networking is a plugin, additional plugin, which is called as add-on, right? Okay, Kubernetes currently supports the following plugins. Always try to be an up to date. Try to search for the documentation and you can see which are supported and which are not supported. You can see here which are deprecated. Okay. Cinder is also deprecated actually. OpenStack block storage deprecated in 1.118 only itself. Now you cannot use this one in the backend. Folker you cannot use. Code byte you cannot use. Storage OS you cannot use it right now. It is deprecated from 1.22. Older versions of Kubernetes also supports following in three per system volume times. What are the photo persistent disk, scale IO? These are not available after 1.21. These are not at all available for us. Okay, and these are which currently available. AWS block
Uh,
storage. This is how it is.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sudhir, so this means that if your cluster is running locally, we can have
Yes.
the persistent storage in the cloud, right?
See, now one more thing which you have to remember is nothing but if you want to attach this particular EBS and all, remember one point. How will you authenticate as your Kubernetes? Our authentication should be either through access key or secret key, something like that. Where do we
Hmm.
provide it? It is not provide. It is not so easy for us to provide it, right? To be frank. Okay. So whatever the volume which you want to use based on the cloud, it has to be your cluster has to be created through that particular cloud service provider. Okay, your Kubernetes has to be created through either AKS, GKS, or EKS. Then only we can utilize this particular volume types. Okay, if you are using on premises, then we have to go for Ceph file system, CSI, FS, FC, flex volume, iSCSI storage, local volume, cluster FS, host path, NFS, RBD. These are the types which are supported for us. Okay.
Okay.
If you are trying to use cloud, you have to be in cloud. Okay, that's one thing you have to remember. Okay, got the point what I'm saying actually?
Yeah.
Okay, don't think that even though if you try to create your Kubernetes cluster using instances, that is also not possible. Okay, you have to be, your cluster has to be created like through Kubernetes service provider. Okay, not your own
Hmm.
Kubernetes setup which you have done. It has to be done through cloud. Okay, then you can
Okay.
utilize this AWS Elastic Block Storage, Azure Disk, Azure File System. Okay, GCE Persistent Disk, something like this. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so coming to the point, so this is how it is. So what are the types are always available? You can just go through this. Okay, so let's try to utilize. So let's try to create. And remember one more point. There are a few things which I want to discuss. Yeah, that's okay. We'll discuss as a part of the syllabus. So first example. Here, try to look at this. Okay, we will try to understand this one. Forget about this one right now. Persistent volume claim policy. Forget about this. Okay. Now we are trying to use a backend volume is nothing but host path. Host path in the sense what? Whenever you try to create a PV, it doesn't mean that it will go to any one of the node and it will create a PV. PV is just a metadata information. That's it. It is not the actual component who will store the information, right? That's the first point which you have to make it clear. Whenever you try to create a PV, it doesn't allocate to any one of the node and it will not create this particular volume for you. Okay, this will be done only by your pod, whether the pod is created through standalone or it is created through workloads. It all depends upon that. Then only this particular directory will be created on that particular node. Until unless that is not created, it is just a metadata information. That's it. Your PV will look like your metadata information. That's it. It is not physically available on your node. Okay, that is the first point which you have to make it clear from your side. Okay, after that, storage class name in the sense I gave some name to this particular PV, so that whenever someone is trying to create a PVC, they will use this particular name in order to attach this particular PVC to this particular PV. Okay, now what should be the capacity of this particular volume? I am trying to say it should be 1 GB. GB in the sense you need to write like this: G, capital G, I. Okay, MB in the sense M, capital M, small I. Kilobytes in the sense capital K, small I. Okay, terabyte in the sense capital T, small I. So these are the things which are supported. Okay, so you have to write like this: MI, okay, GI, okay, TI, terabyte, petabyte. Okay, so this is how we need to write. right? After this, access mode. Access mode in the sense read write once. For host path, actually it should be read write once. You cannot use read write many, or we have other types, right? Let me write this here. We have read, write, many, and then we have read only, many. Okay, so these are the other two options which we have, but we cannot use this one, read write many. Okay, so we can use only read write once, because you need to read the data in this from this volume, and also you need to write some data into this particular volume. Okay, so that's the reason we have to use read write once. Okay, and then once this is created, then you are trying to deploy some particular pod. Okay, so this pod, you can see the volume section right now. This volume, you are trying to specify the name. This name should be matching to your volume mount which you're trying to use inside the container, which you already know about this, right? We discussed so many times. Okay, now here we are using persistent volume claim. This is the parameter which I'm using. Want to use some host path or NFS or something, I used to directly specify NFS here, and then I used to specify server and the path. If it is host path, I used to specify host path and then path and the type, actually directory or create or something like that. Okay, so now directly, instead of directly attaching this particular volume, you are now attaching through PVC. Okay, so now you are creating this PVC. That PVC name you are trying to specify here. Claim name, you have to specify your PVC name, not PV name. What is this PVC? You are trying to send a request to this particular PV that I want to utilize this volume. Okay, so this is a kind of request. So once a request has been passed, this PV will get attached to this particular PVC. Okay, so you can see the name, Story class name is matching here for both of them. Then only this will get attached. And remember one point, what are the access modes you are using here? You have to almost use the same access mode. If not, that will not get attached here. Okay, that is one more thing which you have to remember. Once these two things are done, in this, let's say that the storage type is, actually it is having the storage capacity of 1 GB. Okay, I am requesting for 500 MB. Will it use only 500 MB? Your PVC will be created only with 500 MB, or it will use the entire volume? Let us see. Okay, for that reason only I gave some different value lesser than what we have. Okay, let's see what will happen in the background. So first of all, I will create this particular PV and PVC. Okay, so you can see the API version is V1, and you can see the kind of object which you're trying to create is persistent volume and persistent volume claim. Okay, so let's try to do it right now. Get here PV. Okay, okay, here I want to create host path PV hyphen PVC dot YAML. Okay, I'm requesting, as from PVC side, I'm requesting to the administrator which is trying to create a PV. It is created with 1 GB. As you have to remember one point, it is one-to-one mapping, which means that once a PV was attached to this particular PVC, I cannot create another PVC to attach this particular PV and say that I can specify one more 500 GB. Why? Because it is having 1 GB. I utilized only 500 MB, so other 500 MB is left. Okay, it doesn't mean that I cannot use it. See what will happen in the background. Though you are sending 500 MB request, what will happen in the background? Let us see. So forget about this option, actually, this persistent volume claim policy. Okay, let us say what will be the default persistent volume claim policy. We have totally three, right? Return, recycle, and delete. So right now I don't have anything. Let me show you that. First, kubectl get pv comma pvc. You cannot use all for this. You cannot get it. I don't have anything. Okay, so kubectl create -f. Now this PV and PVC was created. You can see here it is in pending state. Okay, so why it is pending state? Let me see here. Okay, your request is you are having the capacity of 1 GB. Okay, and read write once is a access mode which you gave. Okay, or by default it will get read write once. Okay, and the reclaim policy is retain. That is a default reclaim policy which you get. If you don't specify any reclaim policy, it is retain. What is retain, what is delete, what is recycle, we will understand later. Okay, but the default reclaim policy for your PV when you don't specify anything is nothing but retain. What is the status now? It is available, which means that it is not attached to any PVC in the backend. If it is attached to any other PVC, that will be shown here. That name will be shown here. Okay, and this is the story class name, right? So even though if I re-executed this, you can see now it got attached. It took some time to attach it. Now you can see that particular claim name. It is created in this particular default namespace. This particular PVC is available. Okay. If you have created in different namespace, it could have shown that particular namespace name slash that particular claim name. What is your claim name? Task hyphen PV hyphen claim. Okay, it is bound in the sense what earlier it was available, now it is bound. What does it mean? It is attached. Your PV was attached to someone. Who is that someone? You can see here. Okay, and that particular PVC is available. It is also showing you like bound. To which PV it is attached, you can see here. What is the capacity? 1 GB. What I specified actually in the YAML file, 500 MB. Though you specified that, it will use the maximum value what it is given for your PV, which is going to attach. Why? Because it is one-to-one mapping. There is no point for us in specifying the lesser volume. Okay, that's how it is. And read access mode is read write once. This is the story class. Now this is available for us to create. Okay, so that's the reason when you try to delete your pod, this volumes will never get deleted until unless you specify it. Okay, okay, so let's see. Yes, so now let's try to create the pod. Simple example it is. Okay, it is a standalone pod and not creating through workloads. Okay, okay, you will have to specify the same PVC name. Okay, task PV claim, right? Let's see whether it is the same or not. Task PV claim. Okay, so kubectl create FNF pod. Yeah, it is created successfully. Okay, now let's see. This PV PVC is available. That's what you see from the last time. kubectl get on -o wide. Okay, now we can say it is running and your data has been stored over there. So remember one point, whenever you create that point, I will tell you later. Okay, now you can say this is available. If you try to do curl, you can see you are getting forbidden. Why you are getting forbidden, I will tell you. But anyway, you are getting a response from Nginx, right? Nginx web application. Why it is giving you host path is created just now. So that is an empty directory. So when the empty directory was attached to your container, obviously the data which is stored over there will get wiped out. The files and directories which you have to that particular path. So that's the reason index.html was deleted actually. So again, you have to create it. So where you have to create, wherever this particular pod is running on that particular node. Okay. So go there. Um, I will show you here. This is so simple and basic example it is. Okay. So don't think this is the end. We have so many things we have to discuss in PVPVC. It is a vast syllabus. Okay. Now this slash temp, under that you can see there is a directory called data. You can see there data. This is what it is. Empty right now. Okay. So you have to create some index.html, something like that. Let's say echo. I will give something like h1. Okay. HTML file, okay? It's just an HTML content. Index.html. Okay, done. So now if I go back to my node and if I execute this once again, you can see I got the same thing what I have entered in my index.html in the path. Okay, so welcome to PV/PVC concept. Okay, so this is how it is. So this is how it works by default. Okay, when you are using host path, this host path, that path will get created only when the pod is created. It doesn't mean that whenever you create your PV, it will go and it will create on that particular, which node it will create. Simple question. Let's say I created a PV. If you got this question in your mind, I'm just trying to answer. Okay, let's say I created only a PV and PVC as well. Where it will create? If that is the case, if it is supposed to create, where it will create? It doesn't know, right, on which node it should create. It's not like a cube scheduler where it will take a decision and go and create in any one of the node. The problem is, if it is taking a decision, your pod doesn't guarantee that it will create on the same node, right, where your PV was created, your actual host path is created. No, right? You cannot guarantee that. Your PV, your host path can be created in one node and your pod might be running on different node. Then how it will get attached? Right? So this is the reason your PV, it doesn't mean that it will go and it will create that particular volume on that particular storage on that particular node. No, it is just a metadata which will get stored in the etcd. Whenever your pod is utilizing this particular PV with the help of PVC, then it will go and it will create in that particular node. Whatever the path is specified in the PV, that path will go and it will get created. Okay, this is the first and foremost thing we have to remember always when we work on these particular concepts. Okay, if not, this will be a confusion. Yeah, any questions after this?
Yeah, Sudhir, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, we are using a host path for storage. If I will delete my pod and I have
Okay.
another node, and then pod will schedule there, then this volume is automatically attached to that node.
No, no, no. This volume belongs. It is simple like host path again. Once a path has been created on that particular node, it cannot shift it, right? That is belongs to only that particular node. If your pod is launched on a different node, again it will create a new path, new host path in that particular node, and the content will not get copied. Okay,
So
that's a
it is.
problem we
It's look like it's against the PV/PVC concept, theoretical concept.
against see PV concept, PV PVC concept in the sense. Forget about the backend type. PV
Hmm.
PVC will be available even though if you delete your pod. Let me try to delete my pod. Okay, simple example, just I want to show it actually. Okay, so task hyphen pv hyphen pod. I'm trying to delete the pod. Okay, even though if my pod is deleted, my PV and PVC will be available. Will this happen in your Kubernetes with volume types? No. Once you delete your once you delete your pod, you cannot access your volume. That will be not available either through API. Kubernetes can access only through API, right? Okay, there is no API for you to fetch the data or see the volumes. Okay, but here, even though if you are deleting your pod, whether it is a standalone pod, whether it is created through workload, even though if you delete your pod, still your PVC will be available until unless you delete it. That's the meaning of persistent volume. Okay, you got the point what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Okay, that's the intention of PV PVC concept. Okay, now coming to the backend support, backend type of storage what you're using. As per the backend storage what I'm using right now, that path is still available on that particular node. It is not a deleted. Okay, because your PV PVC is not deleted. Even though if you delete your PV PVC, still my volume path will be available. That particular path will be available. Why? Because I'm using a reclaim policy called retain. Okay, it doesn't delete it actually. Okay, I'll show you practically. When we come across delete reclaim policy, then you will understand what is, or recycle policy. Okay, now because of this what will happen, this backend path will be depends if you want to use the data to be available on all the nodes, then you have to go for your NFS or any other file system type for your backend volume for your PV. Okay, for your PV, we have to use a different type of storage, the different type of storage which you want to use, not the host path. Host path is only specifically for that particular host. It is not for all the hosts actually. Okay, so we have to understand based on our what type of backend volume we are using as well, backend storage. Okay, now I am using host path. Host path meaning is the same whether you create through volume or whether you create through PV PVC, it's the same behavior, but we are controlling the volume. We are trying to access the volume even though our application is deleted. That got changed actually. Okay, that got changed in the sense if you are trying to delete your application, your volume is also not available for Kubernetes to access. But here, even though if you delete your pod, you can see here I don't have any pods right now for this application. Okay, but still I can see my PV and PVC is still available. I can utilize for another application, or I can create another pod and I can utilize this particular volume. Let's say now I will try to create another pod. For example, let's say, okay, so pod
Why PVC is showing bound status?
bound in the sense, what? It got attached to someone. That's the meaning of bound actually. Bound in the sense it is attached. Okay, bound in the sense to whom it is bound, to this particular PV. You can see the name of the PV, PV hyphen host path. Where is it? You can see here. Okay,
So it is not
bound in the
showing
sense
that
it was attached to
it is
someone.
okay. It is not showing that it is attached to a pod or not.
No,
Do
no,
we have
it
any
doesn't show
field?
you. No, no,
Okay.
no. Okay, so if you want that, try to give kubectl describe. Okay, PVC. For example, you have only one PVC. Is it showing you attached to any other, what do you say, pod or someone? Can you tell me, look at this particular options carefully and let me know.
Yeah, it is showing used by task
Yes,
view pod.
exactly. So always if you want to see any pod, this doesn't show you actually. Okay. If you want more information, you have to give describe. You can see here used by this particular pod. Okay. So why? Because I just now I created a pod once again, right? So that's the reason. You can see here task
Mhm.
hyphen pv hyphen pod. Is it showing you here? This is how it
Yeah.
is. Okay. This is where you can see it. Okay. Any other questions, please? Now, what will happen if I delete my PVC? First, let me try to delete my pod. That's okay. You already know about it. Your PV and PVC will be available. That's a known thing. Now, if I delete my PVC, what will happen to my PV? So kubectl delete PVC. What is the name? Task hyphen PV. Sorry, it's hyphen PV hyphen clean. Now this is getting deleted, right? So now if you look at your PV PVC, your PVC got deleted, but look at your PV. What is the status now? It is released. You have seen what is available. Available in the sense the PV was created, but it is not attached to any other PVC. That is called as available status. Okay. Bound in the sense you already know if it is attached to any other PV earlier. Sir, now it is currently running with any PVC, then it will show you bound. So released, you can see here, earlier it was attached to this particular PVC and now it got released from that particular PVC. Okay, does it mean that I can use this particular PV to a new PVC? No, you cannot. A new PVC will get attached only when the status of this particular PV should be available. Okay, let me try to create. I'll show that and I will wind up. Okay, the session. Okay, you can see here persistent volume claim has been created. PV it is telling you that it is already available. Okay, so let's look at this. It is in pending state. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes and see after that also it is in pending state or not. You can see here it is still in pending state. Why? Because there is no PV available for us to get attached. Okay, so in order to get this particular PVC to get attached to any other PV, it should be in available state. Okay, for a written policy, if you try to attach to the PV to any other PVC earlier, it will be shown as bound state. When you try to delete your PVC, now this will come into a released state. Okay, so that is what you have to remember. Okay, now can I do any modifications to this particular PV and make it available so that this particular PVC can get attached to that? Let's try to see edit. Qctl edit PV hyphen host path. Okay, let us change the status behavior. So where is that actually? Where is the status behavior here? Status is this actually, but is there any other where? Yeah, claim reference. You can see here earlier to whichever PVC it has been attached, those details are saved here. You can see here carefully. Okay, let us see if I delete this particular section, will this particular PV will shown as available? Let us see. Okay, let us see if that makes any sense or not. Okay, done, right? So let me save this and come out. Now you can see it is available right now. Okay, it takes some time for your PVC to attach to this particular PV. Why? Because it will do some re-verification for every certain interval, right? So it will take some time. Now you can see it bound again. Okay, so this is how it is. You can change the behavior of your PV as well by deleting that particular section called claim reference. If someone asks you an interview, maybe general interview, not an exam, no one will ask you in the exam, CKA, CKAD or CKS. You don't get this kind of approach. But if someone asks you an interview, can we do anything? Is that possible? Though it is not appropriate solution, but still, is there a way? Yes, is the one. Okay. So that's all for today. Tomorrow I want to show some more examples. Okay, it will take 2 to 3 days to complete this particular topic. Okay. Yeah. Any questions before we wind up?
Sudhir, general question. Um,
Yep.
how do you add a new node to the cluster? I remember we
That
have that
for that
command when
reason.
we created the cluster.
Okay. So for that only I created this particular new node. You can see here, right? I just want to show you once this PVC concept is done actually. Okay, I'm just waiting
Yeah,
for that.
no problem.
Okay, this node is
Okay.
ready. Just I not installed anything actually. I just want to show you from scratch again. Okay, let's say there is a new node. What you
Okay.
have to install and how will you get attach this particular node to the existing cluster? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, please? No. Thank you. So let me see if I cleaned up everything. Okay, everything got cleaned up. Tomorrow we will see some more examples about this PV PVC concept. Okay, thank you.